Hey guys, Awakening Animations here, and welcome to a new series. In this series, we'll discover some techniques in Blender that might be hidden or unknown to a lot of beginners, as well as intermediate Blender users. We'll dive into small features that would speed up your modeling workflow, as well as expand your knowledge on approaching each task in many different ways. I'll try to keep the tutorial 15 minutes maximum and try and end each one with a wow effect. Um, so in the first part here, I'm very excited to show you guys an interesting way of using the mirror modifier as a modeling tool. The technique excites me and I think it has many valuable outcomes. So in Blender 2.79, you have an add-on that allows you to add different objects. So it's not available yet in 2.8. But with this add-on, you get a kind of pipe preset or a pipe elbow. And what it is a cylinder basically that has a angle on it, and you've got a slider to set this pipe angle, and that's quite interesting to um, create gutters or any kind of piping actually for sci-fi things and yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to drop in here is a cylinder, and we'll just leave it in the center. We don't care about the capping and any of that for now. In edit mode, I'm going to scale it on Z, just make it a nice long kind of pipe here. And then the next object we're going to need is a plane, and we can just scale it up a bit to see it better. And yeah, so let's get started. We're going to drop a mirror modifier onto the cylinder here, and we're going to use the plane as our mirror object, and we want to mirror it across the z-axis. So at the moment nothing's happening. That's normal. If we take this plane and rotate it, you can see what it does. It's just a duplicate of the object basically. So let's undo that. Let's go back to the cylinder now and add a Boolean modifier. And Boolean modifier, I want it on top of the mirror, and we want to set it to difference. Okay, and then we choose once again our plane object over here. And you'll think nothing really happened, but if you look closely, we've got this new edge loop here in the center. Okay, so now if we take this plane and we rotate it, we still kind of got the same effect. But if we take this plane in edit mode and extrude it down, okay, we got something like that. Now we can do the normal Boolean operation, which sets this up for you. We just change this object's draw type. So here in viewport display as textured, we make that wire, and that way we can see what's happening here. So on the mirror modifier, we want to set the clipping, and now we can see the magic happening. So if we just rotate this, you can set the angle on your pipe how you want. So when you go extreme, you start seeing funny things happening there. That's just it coming through the bounding box here, so we can kind of move it on its normal axis. So if we press G, Z, Z, and just bring it down further, and let's see if that fixes it. So it still pops out on the sides here, and the way we can fix that is by selecting everything, scale XX, something like that, and scale YY, and let's just see what we're doing, scale YY. So when you double tap X or Y or Z, it just scales it down on the local coordinates instead of the global coordinates. So for the beginners and people who don't understand that, your global coordinates is this, your Z is always up, your X will always be horizontal, as your Y would be your depth, or yeah, your depth in the 3D space. But when you change this to local, it takes on the object's um, orientation. So as long as you haven't gone into object mode and Control A and cleared your rotation, that should still stay like that. And it's always a good option for modeling. So there we go. Now we've got a pipe that we can manipulate like that. When you're happy, you can of course apply the modifiers and you've got it. Or if you want to move this pipe around, you can just select your cutting object here, then the pipe, Control P, keep transform. That way we can move the pipe where we want it and then rotate this part to get the pipe angle. And there we go. So I hope that helps. And once again, you can think of many other possibilities to use this, not just with a cylinder, and get some interesting shapes and angles that you can kind of procedurally manipulate during your workflow.